Hey everyone, this is a continuation from my last presentation and lecture about cryptocurrencies. That one was Cryptocurrency 101. I've got the link in the description. Check it out. This lecture is going to be just a few minutes long. It's going to be about choosing the right wallet for your cryptocurrencies. So in the world of cryptocurrencies, there are two types of wallets. You have the client-side wallets and then the server-side wallets. Client side basically means it's a wallet that is either stored on your machine, your computer, or you might store it somewhere else offline. Server side means that it's in some sort of centralized server system that is connected to the internet. So, for example, if you are keeping your money in Coinbase, well, you're keeping it on a server-side wallet because it's sitting in a centralized server owned by Coinbase that's connected to the internet. So that's essentially the dichotomy between client-side and server-side. I like to look at the two types of wallets in two different types of ways. On the left hand, there's a comparison between the amount of control and the amount of security you have with using a particular type of wallet. So with server-side wallets, you tend to have less control and less security. And I'll give two examples. One example is when Bitcoin had their fork, I think several months ago, there was the release of Bitcoin Cash. And there was this huge, and anytime that happens, Coinbase will typically just halt all transactions in and out of their wallets. So obviously they're taking control of your wallet, which is fine. I think I totally get why they do that, but it still shows that you have less control over your wallet. In terms of security, when you have an entity or a company that's keeping all of your personal information and your cryptocurrencies on their servers, well, their servers are subject to malicious threats like hackers. If you haven't heard of Mt. Gox, I highly recommend you look it up. I think several years ago, I think it was in the magnitude of hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin was just randomly stolen from people's wallets on the Mt. Gox exchange. And the reality is, when something is in a central server and connected to the internet, it's just a lot easier to hack. Whereas on the other hand, you'll see that that little person on that computer, that represents client-side wallets, and they're in this area of high control, high security, and that's because client-side wallets it doesn't store any information or publish it to the internet about like your username, your password, your private key, your encryption codes, and so on. It stores it usually either locally on your machine or somewhere else, just completely offline. There are some, pros and cons to both, and if you look on the right side, you'll see that the server-side wallet and the client-side wallet kind of go inverse when it comes to ease of use and accessibility. So the benefits of using a server-side wallet is it's typically easier to use, and it's more accessible. And it's easier to use because you've got companies like Coinbase who make pretty awesome user experiences in their app. They make cryptocurrencies relatively easy to buy and sell for even people with little technical background. And then accessibility, because it's in the web, you just need an internet connection to access it. With the the client-side wallets, they have lower ease of use and lower accessibility. They require, in my opinion, a little bit more of a technical background or technical competency to be able to effectively use a client-side wallet. And also, because they're not online, they're less accessible, so you often have to physically have access to some sort of password or key to access those client-side wallets. So there's pros and cons to both. I've listed out examples of server-side and client-side wallets. Server-side wallets, you'll recognize a lot of the names here. So Coinbase, that's an exchange that also has wallets. Any exchange will have their own wallets. Those wallets aren't as secure because they're server-side. So you can have those wallets on Coinbase. You can have them on GDAX, which is just the exchange that Coinbase is built on top of. You can have them in Gemini. You can have them on some of the smaller exchanges like Cryptopia and Poloniex. You can also have the client-side wallets, which are the My Ether wallet. That's one of my favorite. paper wallets, which literally means you are writing down your password and your private key on a piece of paper and you're keeping it in a safe place. And then you can also have the Ledger Nano S, which is kind of like, it looks like a USB stick, but it safely and easily saves all of your different keys and passwords for your different wallets and cryptocurrencies. And then, of course, there's the Brain Wallet. What that means is you memorize your password. I don't know anybody that can do that because it would involve remembering a random set of string characters and numbers. And then there's Jax, which is also a client-side wallet that you can use for storing cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and so on. My recommendations are basically as follows. Server-side wallets, I think they're good. In my experience, I think they're good for keeping little to no currency on them. So if I just want to keep a little bit of extra cryptocurrency in a server-side wallet so I can more easily trade with it kind of on short notice or real quick, I might keep some in a server-side wallet because the alternative would be to send cryptocurrency from your client-side wallet to a server-side wallet, and that can take anywhere between a few minutes and several hours depending on the cryptocurrency you're transmitting. Client-side wallets, I think they're good for storing larger sums of cryptocurrency that you might not touch in the near term. So if you wanted to draw an analogy between these different types of wallets and traditional bank accounts, I see the server-side wallet as more like kind of like a low balance checking account. You keep a little bit of spending money in there. And then I see the client-side wallets as more of like your savings account where you don't really want to touch it, you just want to leave it there for a while. So that's really what I've got to say about server-side and client-side wallets. My future tutorials, I'm going to go into more details about the nuances of specific wallets, such as my Ether wallet and Coinbase. And I'll also be covering best practices for using and setting up wallets. And that'll include like a technical walkthrough for getting set up. So yeah, that's it for now. Stay tuned and subscribe.